Mike Taylor, I'm 42 years old. I own JAMZ Muscle Carz with Jennifer Taylor, my wife.
I am 42 years old, co-owner, office person. I do the advertising, what we do of it. I help in the shop if needed. I deal with the customers for the most part, and also dog catcher and retainer.
This location's great. So JAMZ started back in '09. Whenever the housing market fell out, we had an excavating company and we ended up having to close it down so that we could go to, I had to start truck driving.
Mike started JAMZ Trucking with one truck over the road, which was horrible. He missed birthdays, he missed Christmases, he missed holidays.
We built that company up to 12 trucks, which meant I had mechanics. And as I had mechanics, I had to keep them busy.
It was miserable, so we missed him, the kids missed him, and it just kind of grew from there.
My dad and I used to build cars together, and my brother. And so that was a way to keep my guys busy, was start building cars and selling at auction while the trucks were on the road.
We had to make money somehow, other than the trucking. So they started working on the muscle cars, and that's just kind of where the JAMZ Muscle Carz came from.
Ended up selling enough cars at auction that people started asking us, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And I started doing that. This actually wasn't supposed to turn into what it is now. It just did on its own. So we sold the trucking company and opened this full time. We started about 2 miles down the road on 24 highway. And then we just bought this, I think 3 years ago.
JAMZ is our family: Jennifer, Alex, Mike, and Zoe.
We can do everything except for interior. We can start off at, at first tear down all the way to fabrication. We've got a paint booth. We've got a CNC plasma table that we can cut out our own parts on. The 1953 Chevy, when we moved to this building, was actually one of my first customers that showed up here. I told him if he ever thought about getting rid of that truck, that I wanted to have it because it was one of the first ones that we worked on here, and that just something about that truck I liked. We didn't know quite what we were going to do with it, and then this idea came up that we were going to do this before Mecum auction. So that's how that came about. And then all the ideas were kind of thrown together as we're going. It wasn't a plan. This was a one-day plan. We thought about it on Thursday to build it, and then Friday we were building it. I'm hoping it goes for over 50. Somewhere over 50,000.
John Jungblut with A&J Salvage. Been here, 17 and a half years or so now. But, got nothing else. Been known Mike here for about 6 years now or so. Got hooked up with him on a car. And he does pretty good work on some of these old cars and stuff, so he's good people to deal with. What are you going after?
I was going to go after the bottom.
Yeah, that's going to be a bitch. Battery. It isn't hooked up to I-axis, it's going off of here. So whatever you see on that motor you may need.
Oh, you know what? This is a cable drive anyway, so that helps out a bunch.
Oh, so now the price went up. I was just going to tell you.
Yep, that'll work for us. So needs a lot of cleaning and polishing, but we'll freshen up all the gaskets and everything on it anyway. We're using the frame, the chassis, and the suspension out of this. frame, or we
Okay.
got the S10, but then we needed actually out of that Blazer that Johnny raced, that gold Blazer. We needed the rear end out of that because they're actually 2 inches wider, so it will work with our 53, but the rear end that's on that one won't. So I can bring that rear end back with the other stuff. But
Oh,
whatever
well,
you
we'll
guys
just
want.
keep it like it was. Then.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just do that.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
This was actually kind of Andrew's bag house. He really likes the 53, so he got excited about it, and we started talking about it. So we went and took a 97 Chevy S10 frame out of a 97 S10. Took the rear end out of a 2002 Chevy Blazer because they're 2 inches wider, which works with our truck a lot better.
One of the bigger issues on these trucks are these hoods. And like this one right here, we have some buckling in the corner and raised in the center and then flat on the center parts here. So this will probably be one of our biggest body issues we'll have to fight. My name's Andrew. I am painter / fabricator here at JAMZ.
Andrew's been here for, I think it's been a year and a half.
Tend to do a little bit of other stuff too, but for the most part, I'm painter and fabricator. These frames actually will flex with the road. And now that there's modern highways and everything else, the new chassis is stiffer and it'll basically drive like a Cadillac compared to this old frame. With the time frame we have, we could only get extended cab. Got a code 504 kit that we just mock it up and it will show us where we have to cut on the frame, and then everything bolts up, and then this cab and bed will just bolt right up to that frame.
The time frame on this 53, because we didn't think about doing it until later, was it's really short. We've got 4 weeks to do the build in, which I talked to all the guys before we did it. And even if we got to stay till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, we will to get it done. The reason we have 4 weeks is because Mecum auction's coming up in Kansas City. And whenever it comes up in Kansas City, then we're going to take it up there, and that's where we're going to sell it for. So right now the timeline looks fairly good. I think we're falling behind on some stuff, and parts are my biggest concern of getting everything here in enough time. Right now I'm trying to order the Dakota digital gauges to see what the lead time is going to be on them. If not, I may have tried to find somewhere that has them in stock, hopefully. But we can't miss the deadline, so we'll do it one way or another.
We do have a shop lunch on Fridays a lot of times, and it's pretty good. It keeps everybody together, and we joke around while we're sitting at the table. And it's nice. Not a lot of shops do that, so I think it's pretty cool.
Usually do them about every couple of weeks, I would say, or used to. We only got real busy. We've kind of laxed off of it, but we used to do them every Friday. We'll get back to that as soon as we slow down a little bit more. But my wife's always done something usually every Friday for the guys.
No, I can't afford to do it every Friday. That's like it's like $200 to feed all the guys. I can't afford that every Friday, but I try and do it once a month. Just, it gets expensive feeding that many guys. So it's just, whenever, like today, technically the first cold Friday. So I figured chili and, I like to cook. So I figured, why not?
I want to know who wanted to know what it felt like to be the shortest in the shop. With who thinks I'm short? The guy that looks like he's always trying to steal Popeye's girlfriend?
So my name's Russ. I am 38 years old, and I'm lead mechanic at JAMZ.
Russ is awesome. Russ is a great mechanic. He's been mechanicing for a long time. Russ has been a huge help here. You know, we're teaching him more on the older cars because he's more on the newer car side. So we're still teaching him on the older car side.
They call me a suitcase mechanic a lot of times. The reason is when I'm working on these cars, I think about them like my own. If I took my car to the shop and the mechanic was coming out with grease and oil all over him, shopping in my car and getting it dirty, I'd be pretty upset. So I wear my gloves to make sure that when I'm getting in somebody's car, their car's clean, it's leaving cleaner than when it got here. And it's kind of a respect issue for the vehicles. Not so much the people, they'll get over it, they can clean it, but the cars themselves, they can't clean themselves. So I take care of it before that. Really what we got going on is this motor is junk. It's locked up. We know the lower end's trash. We've got another motor sitting on the other side of the shop, but it's got some bad injectors. So we're gonna steal these injectors, throw it on there, see if we can get it to clear up. So we know that motor's a good running motor. We're gonna use it down there.
Basically, what he's trying to do now is get the truck running like a kitten before we pull it out of the truck so that we know it runs good, so we don't have to do it after we get it in the 53 and find out it doesn't run well.
Okay. So the idea is to have the cab off of here in about an hour and a half or so. Once the cab's off, we'll have the motor, the trans left on the frame. Then we can break the trans away from the motor, pull the motor out, put it on the engine stand, and get it over prepped, ready for clean. So that's the plan for hopefully by 2.
Hey, is that door rusted bad on the bottom?
To your left. Oh, so I'm done pulling the motor out, got it all set up on the engine stand. Just got the transmission out, trying to get the torque converter off the motor because the motor's locked up and not easy to get out of it. Trying to get it out so we get it over to the car so we can lock it up on the frame, see what we need to cut, where we need to fab at.
My name's Chris. Worked at JAMZ for about 5 to 6 years now, off and on. I'm 33 years old, mechanic here, do multiple things.
Chris is probably the most OCD employee we have. He is very tedious and it has to be done right. He's somebody you can put on a job and know that when you get it back, it's going to be the way it's supposed to be.
Basically, we took out all the old wiring, the main wiring harness that runs to everything, and put a new one in. We got a lot of aftermarket electronic stuff, like we're running MSD on there and vintage AC and stuff like that, so Dakota Digital. So a lot of the factory harness doesn't really get implemented back in. So, because all those systems bypass your factory harness, they have their own harnesses and ECU or whatever. So basically I'm taking out the old because whoever installed it did a really bad job and just ran into anything they could run into. So basically the car probably was going to catch on fire.
We're taking the gas tank out of here, and these old trucks used to just pretty much sit right on top of the fuel tank.
My name's Shannon, I'm 42, and I'm a welder fabricator here at JAMZ.
Hold back over. He'll do anything. You know, he's just one of them guys that you ask him to do something and he'll do it. When we first met, he actually worked at another shop, and we just kind of became friends down there. And then he ended up coming to work for me quite a while ago. I can't remember exactly how long ago, but it was a while.
Shannon's a great guy. He's always wanting to learn more, but he, if something's happening, you know real quick because he's usually the first one taking off. Working with Shannon's pretty fun. He makes it pretty interesting. A lot of times the guys try to scare him.
Shannon's the longest. He started with us on the trucking company, and then he left for a little bit, and then we hired him back a couple of years ago.
God, where do you start with Shannon? I mean, first and foremost, I love the guy. So anything I say needs to be taken with a grain of salt. There's days I worry he's gonna have a heart attack from all the pranks we pull on him in the shop. But he's a good sport about it, even when there's times he definitely doesn't have to be. But the guy can weld, the guy can work metal. Can't necessarily do that while he's got fireworks going off underneath him, but it's always fun.
I take and I cut out the metal and I fabricate a piece to fit in there, and I just weld it and sand it into seamless, and it's just like new.
I don't know how far we're going. Out of the way.
Trying to get more dark.
Understand.
Again. Good.
Good deal.
This is it.
This is it.
Yep. I think we're gonna have to do some inside fenders too on that 53 because we got to look at them. They're pretty rusty. So
Okay.
Part now.
We can handle that.
So you got pretty much the whole day, or you got something on?
Nope.
Okay.
We're good.
Kick ass. We're at the end of the first week on 53 Chevy build, and we've got the, we started out at the salvage yard, pulled a 97 S10 out of the salvage yard, 2005 2500 that the motor was locked up on, so we had to go fetch another truck out of the salvage yard. It was a 98 two-wheel drive Chevy 2500 also. That motor worked for us. Got it running in the truck, pulled it out, and then we got the 53 stripped down, frame sandblasted. Sandblasters did some of the body. We're in the middle of fixing rust repair. Got the front suspension 90% put together. Got a lot of paint done this week. And a lot of metal work, got the rear end redone. Getting ready to put brakes on it next week. Andrew's been working on getting the interior tore apart, steering column put together. Here comes my dog. And Jordan's been doing a lot of the painting and prepping and stuff for paint. So next week we should be painting quite a bit of the truck.